Okay. Somehow, it didn't work before. Alright, I can go to audio mixing. Because 6 is gonna be very, very quiet. First, let me join this. And unmute this. There we go. Go to pin messages. Go here and copy. And then I can go to audio mixing, which is somewhere. Audio caption, sound settings. Volume mixer. Let's lower between by about 60, 70 is fine. Okay. There we go. Oh, so many windows open. And you're seeing this. Okay, that's good. That's good. Okay. So now we just wait for 6. Let's arrange things, shall we? I don't need Discord, I think. Okay, let's kinda put it smallish and smallish. Here in the corner. And then put Twitch slightly above it. And then this on the right side. And my view is not cluttered at all. Profile cannot be used because of newer NW. Why does NV has a higher NW than I have? Well, I see someone joined, and it's not me. So how's you? Six says that is connected. Let's just ping him a message. I guess meanwhile I can continue doing slightly something I was trying to do. Alternate enlace. I just finished an update for a game that you won't be able to see in a month because things are a little bit packed, like release schedule wise. Oh, someone joined. Hello.
Hello?
Hello, hi. Let me just copy this. Yeah.
Hi.
1.5. Are you? I think I need to... Oh, I found a problem already. How do I turn the volume down? Oh, there we go.
This is just, yeah, basic. Yeah, this is just the basic, like, Yanfly plugin.
How are you?
I'm doing pretty well. Sort of jumping between a few things before getting here, but most of that finishing up.
How do you recommend playing between? Can I play with the mouse and see what the hell happens?
I mean, I don't think anything would be too problematic with that. Certainly less optimized in terms of like speed and stuff like that, but
Well, let's play the intended way. I wonder how much the audio changes as I move up and down my room. There we go. Hey! So, let's skip this part. And this part. You said that those parts are skippable, right? Like, it should be pretty obvious that I'm heading towards a certain area.
you press. Sorry, what? What do you mean?
For, like, X-rated things.
Oh, so there will be like the only stuff. Okay, so basically, how it's set up is that the X-rated stuff is almost entirely behind like bad ends or specific choices that you make. How I ended up doing it was through the first few chapters. You make choices basically to indulge or not in that sort of stuff, and it basically opts you in or opts you out of that. But those choices themselves do have a little bit like explicit in terms of just like, do I want to wonka wonka sort of thing going on.
Right.
So those will come up, but other than that, it's definitely not X-rated. Probably it's R-rated. Probably. I'd say if you just like if you don't choose to do the sexual stuff or get a bad ends on occasion in those but yeah, basically I assign a point system to opt in or opt out, and stuff that does have that even bad ends. I think I ended up making more explicit versions based on if you have those points or not.
Right. So it's X-rated for marketing purposes.
There's X-rated here and there. I'll say that. It's certainly not the focus.
Right. Okay. So, for some people might not know what this game is, right? Maybe, probably.
So Between is an RPG in the vein of stuff like Afterlife and stuff like that.
Right.
And it's
So,
about
go
stuff.
ahead.
And Icarue has not played it, but he also knows more about the lore than has been revealed in the game up to the most recent point. Because Icarue has been told a lore stuff that has not been revealed in the game because it's relevant to the other stuff we work on together. In terms of like the fundamentals of how the world works, basically.
So I know the lore. Let's see the story.
There are some major lore things you don't know, Icarue, but you know more than has been revealed in the game. So yeah, just developer notes are just like FYIs from me. Difficulty mode is normal plus is the as designed challenge, and then it starts out on normal. Basically, the idea was I design it as it makes sense to me, and I basically just reduce all the stats and damage and stuff by like 15% or so to just account for the fact that I know what's going on, and then that makes normal the standard, while also keeping normal plus the other thing, and then
Right.
the story is more the trivialize fights sort of mode.
For me, it's the other way around. For me, easy mode is my intended experience, and then I bump all the challenge a little bit more when I release.
That would be trickier to balance, I think.
No, just people tell me, oh, this game's easy. Okay, it's easy. monsters do 10% more damage now.
There are super bosses that are optional that are significantly more difficult, but yeah, in general, the challenge, as was said in the comments, is it's pretty. I think it's fairly forgiving if you like actually learn the system.
I think I played the first 10 minutes of the game when it was first released, like 5-6 years ago.
Not 5, 6, closer to 2.5 now, I think.
Did you release it during the pandemic?
Yeah, the pandemic's actually why I found like TF games and that sort of stuff in the first place.
Oh.
You know, work from home.
Let's just Google, are transformation games a thing? And then the first thing you find when you Google transformation games is...
I won't elaborate or remember precisely what the chain of events was, and I won't, because it's been that long and it was just sort of random in the first place. But the basic answer is work from home also made a situation where I could take more breaks and just go do other stuff.
Right.
So I was just looking for stuff online more frequently back then. Especially without a commute, you had more time in the day to do stuff like that.
Right, right. Have you resumed your commute? Or do you still work from home?
Oh, I mean, even back then it was a partial work from home because my job does need me to be there for some of the time.
Oh, nice. So it
Now
was
I
hybrid even
commute
before it became popular.
Yeah. Basically nothing's changed, just
Other people talking.
you're less encouraged to work from home, basically. And I moved to a place that's only that's like half the distance where I was back then, so it's a much smaller commute.
Right. In game, do they tell you who this person is? The person I'm talking to? Because I know the name. Their name.
Well, play the game.
I already know their name. Oh, then who's the one with W?
With W. That's the wrong name that you were thinking of?
Yeah, I was thinking
What name are you thinking of?
Will.
Will? No, that's just like a title for something.
Ew.
That's the other element of me telling Icarue how the things work. He also doesn't remember half of it.
Let's be honest, I don't remember half of the things that happened in my life in general.
Feel you there. I have a horrible memory, except for the things I actually think about regularly.
I remember the things that stress me, but I forget the things that don't stress me. Or I forget the things that stress me as soon as they stop stressing me. Yay.
Okay, so the woman you're talking to, this is something I want to test. So it says her name right there. How do you pronounce that?
Libra?
How do you... Sorry?
Libra?
So the intended pronunciation is Liebra.
Libra?
Liebra.
Oh, so just
Libra.
pronounce it as in Spanish. Libra. But it's because I'm speaking in English that I pronounce it as Libra.
I don't think English is as consistent as you think it is.
No, it's not. I know enough English to know it's confusing. In English, there are like, what, 12 vowels? In Spanish, there are only 5. So if you see an A, it's pronounced as an A. My last playthrough before the current on was chapter 2 firstly ended, and boy, playing with all the art really makes a difference. Let's see if we even reach chapter 2.
Oh, in this? No, not today. It's like a... If we're gonna play for 3 hours, we might get like... I want to say like a... 1/15th through it, maybe? 1/10th, somewhere in that range. It's up to around chapter 5 currently.
1/10 to chapter 2, or 1/10 to the whole thing?
Whole thing.
Okay.
And probably less if we like talk and you pause and all that sort of fun stuff, which is gonna happen.
Yep. I can see the Afterlife reference. Or Afterlife inspiration. Did you got inspired, or you just happened to release at the same time?
As what? Afterlife?
Yeah.
No, I was way after Afterlife.
So it's an inspiration.
Oh yeah, no. So the inspiration is I was playing games, and Afterlife was like the example of a game that was, hey, you could just make a good game, and TF stuff can just be a notable part of the story without just being everything just being an excuse to do the TF stuff, right?
Right.
So it sort of became like an inspiration, and like, yeah, I could try that.
Penelope also. Oh, this is the girl I drew.
The red hair one, yeah.
And like, Penelope sounds familiar. Oh, right. She has shorter hair than I drew her with.
This is the character I think. Oh, it's almost like stuff happens. This is the character that I think like your first boss in Perfect World has a similar design to, just because at this point in the game specifically.
Wait, did you got inspired by the art of my boss?
No. I just saw yours and I saw the similarity.
Ew. Like, then I would have to... Go ahead.
And I remember mentioning it at the time.
I forego her.
I think it's been the better part of a year, half a year or so. Just as what parts of playing through your game stood out to me. The things I get to associate with the stuff I've thought about tons.
Let's start putting more white-haired people in the games.
Oh, do you like white hair now, too?
No, I think you like white hair.
Oh yeah, no, because you asked me about that recently.
Yeah. My plan is at the moment make the protagonist of the you-know-what have white hair. The things I drew yesterday?
Should be interesting, yeah.
So, can you tell me what happened?
This is the real risk, right?
Yeah, so we were almost dying. We went to some sort of, let's call her goddess. And then suddenly we're in a building.
So basically, you were dreaming. You're like, "What's happening?" You basically get told, "Hey, you're on the verge of death," and then you wake up with having a police lady and friends or people that you know basically standing over you, being like, "Oh my goodness, you were close to death. You should stay here and not rush ahead." And then you're like, "Oh shit, my boss is farther in." Then you rush ahead and they follow you.
Okay. Okay, now the controller version. How do I run? Oh, I run with X, not with B. That's weird.
Are you using a controller?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm using Xbox controller.
Oh, that's... I'll have to add in the controller notes and make it entirely PlayStation based.
Just to spite me.
Just to spite Xbox. I like PlayStation. I grew up on that childish rivalry.
So it's there's a message. In terms of hair color, I would say blue and white are criminally underused. I see you have not played Fire Emblem. Because the protagonists are exclusively white and blue and white.
Is there white? Who's white?
Micaiah, Robin, Corrin.
Okay, I guess I typically don't consider silver and gray as a white, because I like white, but I like that like pure, like really clean, bright Snow White look.
Roy is red-haired. That's literally the only exception. And technically, on normal Fire Emblem, like Fire Emblem, the one that happens before Roy's game, that one's also... It depends on who you count as the protagonist. Ellingwood has red hair, Lynn has green hair, but Hector has blue hair. And then it says, except engaged, the one still an open next to me. But that's Pepsi Man.
I still absolutely hate Pepsi Man's hair.
It definitely looks way better when it's one or the other. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, but that's the problem, isn't it? That it's both? That's like the entire problem.
I mean, spoilers.
You're basically saying, hey, if you took away the entire problem, then the problem would go away.
The red and black outfit's really cool. The redhead black outfit's really cool. And then, of course, there's the other way around, which is blue and white.
Yeah, I can't. Yeah, those are good color schemes. Black and white tend to go with everything. I also like black and white color schemes, if you don't know yet.
Not yet, I think. Oh no, wait, Bennett has black and white.
Well, it's a three-piece suit with like a vest and stuff like that.
Well, let's just play the game. Oh. There's like dynamic lighting. I don't think one time counts as an experience, but whatever. I'm good. Okay, just for the sake of completion.
I mean, I will say I overhauled the battle mechanics since you played it, so...
I do remember There was
stuff,
no
but-
scene with Liebra.
No, that's always been there. That was the first thing ever written for this.
I probably just skipped it.
Or it's been 2 years.
I probably forgot, yeah. One story in an RPG, right? That's why Engage is the best game ever. Because you just ignore the story and the mechanics are actually pretty good. Well, you continue to call her Libra despite the obvious E in the name. Right? In English,
I mean,
that's what I do.
At least say Libra at that point.
Library.
Her name is Libra. She is the coming prediction of bras being a lie.
Did you say the upcoming predictions of Brass being alive?
She's Libra.
Brass being alive?
A lie. L-I-E.
Brass are alive?
That's what they say.
Okay. Oh, that did almost no damage.
But it did give you a bunch of TP.
Which I can use to first aid, which also doesn't help. Oh, she's strong. Those years in karate helped. So causes wobbly. Okay, let's see how much you're. Oh, it's an AoE. Nice. The cake is a lie. Brass are a lie. Everything's a lie. Have you seen that video of like everything's a cake?
Sounds vaguely familiar. If I did, it was a long time ago that I saw it.
Actually, I can Desperation, and then First Aid later. I don't know if that's the intended experience. Can heal wounds. Is it self? No. Did she just smack me to recover my HP?
I could have changed the That was like one of the first animations I made. It's basically just like based on the basic attack animation, and I could have fixed it to make it more logical, but I find that hilarious.
Live, damn it! Bah! If you want something to be true, you need will. You need will to be true. Oh, this is part of the lore, probably.
Yeah, it's a pun.
Yes, have you seen it? Some baker making cakes looking like everyday objects, then cutting them. That's a little bit creepy, the cake video. Sure, let's judge the tutorials. I'm gonna assume the wheel stat is different from the wheel something else, probably. Probably not. Probably they're about the same thing. Okay, no, there's something I want to check. Oh, there's no TP. Henceforth, I cannot heal outside of battle. At least with first aid.
Is it just not showing the TP? I don't think you can use it out of battle anyways.
Right.
Either way, I set it up. I set it up so that you can like heal fairly regularly with like locations. Also, that vending machine. Go to the vending machine. Nope. Yeah, there. Yeah.
I'm used to running with
to the right side. To the right side. I'm also seeing you on a delay.
From the right side?
No, just exactly that. As it said at the end, it's a healing point.
Oh, okay.
You gotta read it.
No, I read it. I thought it's like, oh, here's like some secret thing.
Right, yeah. That's what I meant. That was like on the right side. That's what I meant.
That was it already. There are a lot of them. Learn about weapons. There are 6 basic weapons. 6.
Are you waiting for me to respond?
No, I'm just making a pun. Every time I see the word 6.
Those. You should definitely read those. That's like that's an important part.
I'm breeding. I'm just skimming them.
Okay. What do each of the basic weapons do then?
Different things.
Fantastic.
I'm gonna guess spread is AoE. The basic one's the basic one. And then
press tab. Press tab.
Oh, there are 6.
Yeah, that's the log. You can only do that while there's like dialogue up, but you can do that.
So spread is all foes. Cripple, medium or lower chance of status effects. Okay. Multi is just multi-attack. Ooh, really good for earning TP.
Multi's good for a TP game, yeah.
Yeah, because I see if it's even lower than the base power. Because it's 5 times 2, so that's 10 compared to 20. There's force and then there's magic. Oh, magic heals MP. Nice. I'm gonna forget that in 5 minutes.
Okay.
I don't know if this was the intended solution. Actually, I need you to guard.
It is. It really is, because the civilian base stats are all based around having really high luck, which gives it really high critical damage. So just the desperation attack, even at expense of HP, gives you a bunch of hits, which means you go for a bunch of crits.
Right.
Oh yeah, it's probably worth noting that via feedback over the time that this game has been out, I have added to the description of weapons what each of them do in terms of base power and stuff like that.
Okay, good. So I don't need to remember. Don't worry, the weapons are...
Give me like a minute or two. I'll be right back.
Sure. Quick! Now we can skip all this. We can skip all the story. I have a problem, we just don't make gearboxes. Hello.
Oh shit! I just noticed something wrong.
What? Should I know?
It referred to the main character in the third person. That's not how it works.
Oh, oops.
That's been there for years.
Time to go all the way back to the beginning.
Yeah.
Um, 12 o'clock? Well, I guess it's there 12 o'clock. Slightly bigger patch. Well, that's descriptive.
Hell yeah.
That did nothing.
That was horrible, actually.
Oh, they get the wobbly. I don't get the wobbly.
So wobblies, basically, how I have statuses is that they're basically really strong, and they often have upsides and downsides. So based on the situation you want to use them in, wobbly is really good if you're a magic user, because it really reduces your hit rate and gives you evasion, but magic doesn't use hit rate.
Right. But I thought the policewoman would have the wobbly, not the enemy.
Okay. Probably will adjust that, instead of causes, inflict.
On enemy? I don't think you can fit it in. That did a lot of damage. Sure, let's watch the another tutorial. How do you make it so it only gets hit by one status effect?
I make it so that the status effects resist all the other status effects. Actually, specifically, it's it isn't. Is it resist? Because yeah, how it? What's the nomenclature? Okay, so there's state rate and state resist. State resist stops that one. So if a state has a state resist trait, it'll stop that other state from ever being applied while that state is applied.
I see.
While state rate could technically allow it, even if you put it to 0, could technically allow it to be put on. It just creates a 0% chance whenever there's an RNG chance, which sometimes there's not an RNG chance for states.
Right. So in that case, do they, like, override each other?
In this case, they do not. It's very it's inspired by Pokemon, actually, where you could technically put a state on yourself in order to block other states from being put on you.
that would definitely make some fights in OU a lot easier. Because the problem is when they stack.
Because yeah, that's actually the problem I ran into in part of the battle revamp that I mentioned. Because the old system had it so that you did actually have everything capable of stacking, and it made it so that every time I made a status effect and stuff, I just had to make it really weak and not really that good. Because if it was too strong, that meant that once you started stacking stuff, it would just become absolutely crippling. And that's why I really like Pokemons, because you can make them substantial while also balancing it by the nature of you can only have one of those standard statuses at a time.
Right.
I think Persona does that too. At least for a good amount of their statuses.
I think so.
I'm just remembering how they actually indicate that you have the status. Okay. Why does everyone find this so easily? Because that's like a hidden thing.
Which one, the vent?
The you freaking... What's the event? I'm trying to remember what that actually looked like.
The thing? I was just poking things.
The bookshelf thing. Okay.
Well, this is a secret.
Oh no, yeah, this is the super boss. So, save before if you want to try it. The plan is for every chapter to have a super boss, basically.
Oh, so I'm close to the end of the chapter, maybe? I don't know.
It's a prologue. Prologue, yeah.
I mean,
it's a short prologue, relatively, yeah.
That doesn't stop after, the prologue for after, takes an hour.
The game explicitly states ends of chapters and beginnings of chapters outside of the very beginning, so...
So there's no TF mechanics or basically anything, this is just a challenge thing.
This is just... The idea is that the game's manageable, you don't really need to be super duper... It's not super challenging for the normal game, and then you sort of hide the really challenging stuff as these hidden challenges. There's no TF stuff, there's no story stuff. My general philosophy on it is I don't want to hide story-based stuff as a reward for a gameplay challenge. So the rewards are gameplay-based.
Do I get better weapons and such?
In this case, you get a subclass, which is not equipable now, but will be equipable later. And it also depends what... You can also play it on different difficulties, which will give you different rewards based on that.
Let's see how... Well, that's not good. That's slightly better. Craft, first aid, and then I'm gonna have you guard. Hey, stop doing that. And then first aid to Bennett. Then...
Yeah, I like the music. I like the music too, but I also am the one who chose them, so...
Obama giving himself a medal.
Yeah.
Well, if nothing happens, I'm just gonna finish this in about 10-20 minutes. If the strategy doesn't change
it-
drastically.
It's a design boss. It is a very heavily designed boss. If there's one thing I can say about my battle system is that it's very reactive. This one was also redone from the previous battle system, so there are definitely things left over from that in terms of the approach and design philosophy. Though it had to be revamped significantly to work in the new system too.
Can I do something to speed things up?
I mean, you're not doing any of the optimizing strats, so the answer is yes, but also you're not doing any of them, so.
Should I have equipped things? Did I gain things?
Yeah, you gain things. So like you have focus weak point. You have like a focus weak point on Callum, and that's from an equip. And you could also switch around the standard basic weapons in order to put different weapons on different people in order to optimize better. And maybe want to get TP more on this character. Maybe want more basic damage on this character, etc. And there was also one item that gives a skill that you didn't equip.
Right. Well, that's it turned harder. At least it gave me it killed us faster.
I would not recommend sitting and trying to figure that out during a stream. I'll say that.
Sure.
But yeah, at least open your thingamabomb. No, don't go on yet. There's a couple things that I want to show. One, open your equip menu. So, accessories. So you got this before, and basically you can get certain skills by equipping accessories.
Let's actually check, because I think she
and
has
you can also
the...
switch. You can also switch around the weapons.
Never mind. Sorry, go ahead. Continue.
You can switch around weapons in order to, if you want to strategize, like you talked about how magic can give MP back. You might want to put a magic-based basic weapon on someone that has a magic attack. So yeah, it says there it's a standard basic attack or multi-basic attack, base power 5x2 plus TP, 10 TP per.
Oh, you also have momentum, I see. So that's it. Everyone has familiar shoes.
The next thing is go back to the room before.
This room, right?
Yeah, go click on the chest again. So this is something that I took from the Trails series, where basically after you open a chest, you can just click on the chest again, and it'll give you unique joke, dialogue, that sort of thing.
Oh, I thought like, oh, it's gonna give me like a secret item.
No, that's the joke. That's the joke. Oh, you found this unique little thing. You'll definitely get great stuff, or nothing. That's much more likely. We are empty chest after all.
Right.
But yeah, it's just a little Easter egg, I guess would be the word for it. For chest and stuff. Every single chest has a different joke.
So this is a buggish.
Is it not working on one of the sides? Oh, do you have to click it or something?
I have to click it, yeah. Now that it's open.
Okay.
I have to click it.
Okay.
Minor stuff.
I can fix that.
Oh, and you took a page from Magical Camp, right? With the enemies?
I mean, yeah, I guess Magic Camp does that. Magical Camp does that. Is it Magic Camp or Magical Camp?
Magical.
But I more see that as just more a standard thing. I dislike random encounters just in normal JRPGs.
Right. Yeah, same. I was playing Mega Man Battle Network. It's like, okay, I go 10 steps, fight a guy, 10 steps, fight a guy, 10 steps, fight a guy.
There are, and you can also do it so that it's basically optional, but you can also design the dungeon and whatnot so you can force some encounters. Like, hey, you go through this dungeon, you can't just run through anything, you have to fight at least 2 enemies, or something like that. Because
Right.
you have basically, blanking on the words. Yeah, like, on the bridge there.
You gain something that you didn't equip. Well, sometimes the chests give you a hint that there are other chests nearby. Ah, that's actually not a bad idea.
There are some chests that are like hidden in the environment that you can't actually see, and then I'll put in in the chest dialogue saying, "Oh, there's hidden chests around here," or not. No, don't believe me. Please don't find the hidden chest.
But they're optional. Okay. So use items to make the game easier.
Yep, that's this is also inspired by how I see Pokemon, where the items are. You should not be using items unless like you actually have to, because they're explicitly designed in order to. They're explicitly designed that you don't need them. They're specifically there to make the game easier than the standard difficulty. So that's how I generally design items in most stuff that I've done.
How about health items?
In Pokemon? No,
Yeah.
yeah, Pokemon. That's definitely designed more around that. Yeah, I'm more talking about like full restores and stuff like that. The stall tactics via just healing your Pokemon over and over and over again. That tactic.
Right. Especially Ether. Who uses Ether? Can't buy that, so don't use it.
Yeah, it's so weird that that's like not purchasable, and that's never been. It's such an odd design choice.
I never use it because of that. It's like, let's just wait until the
The Elite Four,
until the Elite Four, yeah.
Yeah, when you can't go back and get all that back.
Correct. Watch me click on the first like 5 chests and then completely forget it's a thing. Like what happened with the trash cans.
Oh, the Pokemon trash can stuff. Yeah, no, yeah, I remember that now.
Like, oh look, I'm giving you so many free items. Ignore, ignore.
I honestly don't even. I never confirmed that he actually put stuff in there. In terms of my Uncle Nintendo, I just thought that he might, but I never actually asked him and confirmed that. So, I mean, you might have actually saved time in the end, as far as I know.
Yay, efficiency. Man, there used to be so many thingamashings. There used to be so many vending machines, and then suddenly it's like, nah, you have enough. Did it sacrifice itself?
Might have? It might have. I need to actually look up what I'm not remembering that ability. Not in a standard battle. Shouldn't be able to do that.
Then does Callum has any sort of like reflection ability?
Oh yeah, that could be it. He has like all the characters have a base passive skill if you want to go look at their skills.
Eh. Fine.
You don't want to learn about the thing.
I just want to be surprised.
Surprised by the things right there.
So these are your stats. Again, these are your stats.
Oh yeah, it's all stat based.
There we go. 2%. What's the difference between counter and reflection?
Counter, physical, reflection, magical.
Got it.
That's how they program it, just in RPG Maker in general, right?
I don't know.
And also, reflection is like a direct reflection, and counter's technically counter's technically like you dodge and then you hit with like a basic attack.
Did he commission this one, or?
No, this is from an enemy pack. I don't think there's almost any enemies that I have, except like the final boss, which I've had commissioned for a long time, that I've actually commissioned enemy art for. It's all from just like a public pack. All credited in the credits document, as I do.
Are you weak to fire? Nope. Shouldn't have done that. Shouldn't have done that.
FYI, guarding also gives you like plus 20 TP. So
Plus
there's
20?
an advantage to guarding on that basis. Yeah, it gives you a
Right.
bunch of TP to guard.
Oh. This one overwrites.
Oh, and yeah, the bosses, one of the other things that I did for status balancing is bosses occasionally just purge all statuses from themselves.
Right, because you make them to be specifically powerful.
Yeah. So you can't just set it and forget about it. You actually have to reset it if you want to make that a strategy. Oh, that needs to be updated. Or that has been updated, that line. Because it's different based on how much extra damage does is different based on difficulty mode.
Oh, so normal plus deal more damage.
Yeah, it's like, so normal plus is like 20% more damage, and normal is like 15% more damage per stack.
How about story?
10. You also have a different max amount of stacks. 8 stacks for normal plus, 6 for normal, and 4 max stacks for story. So in basically what it is in normal plus, you can get a max of like if it's 20 plus 8 times 20. That's 160. No, never mind. Math in my head. I have the data here. I'll just pull up the data. Yeah, 160 plus, so 260% of the normal damage you can get up to, basically. While in story mode, it's more like just 100, an extra plus 40% damage.
Oh, I see.
So basically, you guard it with Luna. Yeah, you guard it with Luna, and that's why she didn't get any. And you got it with, I think, Callum too. That's also being blocked by the chat, so I'm not for sure on that.
Yeah. I'm just saying that the vulnerability has 2 numbers. So the one on the right is vulnerability 1 for 6 turns.
Yes. So, yeah. Left numbers turns, left numbers stacks.
The slimes are slippery. Pun intended.
Yeah, I think this one definitely does have higher evasion rate than a typical boss would have. Just because, same with the other slimes.
I got an alcoholic drink.
Yeah. Trying to remember what exactly that does. I think that's TP up or something.
I like that music. Hope it stays.
The which
the you defeated the enemy music.
Oh yeah, that's it's one of the standard ones.
Is it?
It's one of the standard ones from something. MZ Victory number 2. That's what it is.
Huh.
So it starts with the jingle and then it goes into that extra.
We're about to get isekai'd. Isekai was still a trope back in like 3 years ago, right?
Isekai is like a decade old at this point.
Good old SAO.
At least it was popularized like a decade ago.
Yeah. Because like Digimon's like 20 something year old. And that's not even the first one.
Alice in Wonderland?
The Divine Comedy, was it?
Maybe.
The whole of Norse mythology going into different realms. Divine Comedy was going into purgatory, then hell, then heaven, because your GF said so.
At least say it was a goth girlfriend. GF.
Also, like, that's... The Divine Comedy is fun, because it's not only isekai, it's self-insert, and Mary Sue. It's a self-insert Mary Sue isekai. Which now you get like a dime a dozen. You're like, all the historical figures that I like are so correct, and they love me. And the historical figures I don't like are in hell.
Yeah, I feel like, yeah, I've heard that before about it. So, Icarue, what happened in this conversation so far?
They're conversing about their situation.
So Harper basically said that her father, who's the boss that they're looking for, is an enforcer, someone that the government basically hires to fight off supernatural stuff. And then things started rumbling, and Harper really wanted a dragon to show up because a dragon showing up would be pretty cool.
Right. And now there's a witch. Or succubus. I'm gonna guess Luna knew a little bit of this? Maybe? I don't know.
She's in on the situation, but doesn't necessarily understand the underlying what's happening in terms of why magic and stuff like that, why supernatural and stuff like that.
So we don't get isekai, or maybe we do. I don't know.
I don't know what you remember from the last time you played it.
I think I'm good. Too many tutorials.
The basic down low is that magic doesn't use hit rates, but it also cannot crit. And physical uses hit rate, but it can crit.
Everyone, to battle! Also, the same guy. I'm just gonna basically solo this whole battle. Didn't kill her outright. Unless he uses a spell that can crit. There are spells that can crit?
It explicitly tells you it can crit if it can crit. It's like a special trait of that spell. In the same way a spell might, oh, this might put them to sleep. It's this can crit.
Right.
And if they can crit, they also have a static crit rate, where it isn't dependent on any of your actual stats.
Bennett Morrison?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I stopped playing around this part.
Did you stop because it got boring?
No comment. It didn't have as much transformation elements. Hello, RB and boy.
Yep, it is definitely a slow. It is definitely a slow burn for the TF stuff, and builds up to that.
I mean, Oathbreaker has like 3 chapters.
Yeah,
RB
I mean,
and boy.
yeah. Well, it's part of writing, right? You gotta establish the thing that you're changing from, especially if you're trying to integrate a TF stuff into the actual plot, into the character arcs and stuff like that. There has to be some build-up of the world that you're moving on from into the world that you're changing into, right?
Okay. I found
these are most of the
bug.
tutorials. These are most of the tutorials up to this point.
Can I press B? Oh, I can. Nice. What do you mean we have to build up to things? Can't we just have like naked things and just go straight into it?
That's why I say I was inspired by Afterlife, right? Because it was actually just it's a story, and the TF stuff's just a major element of it, but it's not like it's trying to be about the TF, it's just a major element of it.
My first playthrough, I stopped at the forest because in the forest because boring, but it grew on me like a forest. That was Oxycron, Best Anime Freak. My first playthrough, I also stopped in the forest, but not because it was boring, but because it was the end of the content. And then Run Band Boy. Sure, there's hard jumps, but I expect slower burn. Make the mental changes more impactful. And then Manager Between has a great and intriguing story, but it has the TF that we are made along the way. The way we stayed. I probably read that wrong. Were you about to say something?
I think I was about to...
To cough?
clear my throat.
Right. Something happened? Did I find a bug?
What? You find a bug where, when, how, why?
No, it just make a funny noise.
Oh, no. I was like, as a way to say, nah, not really.
Was I supposed to go down? Or go up, right? I was not supposed to follow Penelope.
No, you're supposed... No, you're not. Also, that was Harper that left.
Right, I only know one person's name. Like me having been taking jobs for 12 years now.
Me talk real good. That makes sense in terms of what you're talking about.
I took a language test relatively recently, and my talking score went like 1 point lower than it was like right after I finished university.
Probably have a lot more contact with people in terms of just like talking in person in university.
Yeah. Especially back before the pandemic. You at least talk to your neighbor.
Oh no, I didn't do that.
I got bored, so it's like,
other people.
hello, neighbor. We have had 7 viewers for at least more than 5 minutes. Yay. I think that's a record. I like talking to people anyway. I mean, I have to in order to get a higher English proficiency thingamajig. Mister? ¿Por qué no hablamos español? Because not a lot of people speak Spanish here.
I took 2 years of Spanish in high school, and that's where I learned that I don't like learning languages.
Oui. Oh, you use a female haired you. On a male person.
You're just too used to making the generator
Yes.
portraits that you just associate that with a girl.
Qu'est-ce que c'est que le français? I speak a little bit of French. Just enough to probably pronounce that correctly. It sounds correctly to me anyway. I tried French in high school. I still can say that I don't speak French, but that's all. I took a single class of Japanese.
I have a friend that has been learning Japanese for a long time, and we usually just are like, "Hey, what does this mean? Hey, what does this mean? Hey, what does this mean?" Poke him.
And do they like get it or?
Usually, when we ask, they're pretty open about how well they get it or don't, or so just the best idea of it. Look stuff up if he doesn't, so that sort of thing.
Where's my towel?
You have it like on fast forward, so it like burns through the tell.
Okay, I disable fast forward somehow.
Oh, so you can click with the mouse. There's like a little icon that you can click.
But I accidentally activated it with my controller.
Yeah. Okay, then I don't know how that works then, because I've never seen that before.
I liked it fast forward. It takes a bit too much time.
But the tell for her doing it is basically that boost stance, where she maxes out her one of her buffs. Like that. Fast forward is not on, or shouldn't be on from the get-go, unless I put something on, because it's like a global configuration, and it just remembers what it was on last. So if it's on from the get-go, that's because I accidentally zipped it up with that still on, and released it with that still put on.
What is this? Oh, this is actually really nice. Oh right, except her attacks are magic.
Doesn't use hit rate.
Hopefully this is one of those battles where I have to lose. I certainly did not know how
Don't know how to turn
on.
off fast forward. You just click the button on the screen with your mouse.
Like this. Boop boop. Boop boop. Okay, good. It's one of those battles I'm supposed to lose. Well, time to die, I guess. See weak point, so it has a weak point. That means we can win. It would be really, really funny if like, oh, you missed, because wobbly. Aha, I chiz the thing.
What happens if you win this battle? Nothing. It just goes into the same stuff, basically. Because it's not, there's nothing, but how RPG Maker works is that if you can lose a battle, you have to mark it as something that can be lost, and it's basically a conditional branch coming out of it. Did you win? Did you lose? It does different stuff, and then it continues after those sets of conditions to just the non-conditional stuff after it.
I would just put a message in, if you win, cheater. But I'll ignore that.
I mean, I might have done something like that. Let me check.
No, I know. I will remember that in the future.
Oh yeah, I have a little text battle that says I have a little text box that says you shouldn't be able to win that. And then just goes into it.
Brand our boy said, pretty sure you just continue like you lost. Not like I would know. I wonder what would happen if you overflow with magic. I guess it depends on the world and system.
Very much, yeah.
Nothing happens to the avatar if he learns all 4 elements. Yay, we finished the prologue. It only took like an hour and a half.
I would consider the prologue to be about a half an hour to 40 minutes long.
Yay, that probably means we're gonna be here forever.
It's probably gonna. I'm gonna say that double the amount of time is probably a good estimate.
Forever. Oh, we're here again. You see it again? It is again. I thought I read, you're not drunk, just tripping.
That would be a twist.
I'm called Libra. Ignore the E. The E is silent. At least now you're able to tell the people, hey, this is how it's pronounced. It's pronounced Leonidas. You saw light after darkness. You must be dead. Oh, we have an anime intro. Oh, I have to. Do I have to click something? I don't know.
Uh-oh. Is that my internet?
No, it just takes a while to pass that thing. The intro is beautiful, by the way. Made in RPG Maker MB, a game made in. So it's made.
I will not back off on that choice of framing. I think it looks much better that way.
So what engine did the game use to made it? Oh, the engine's called Between. A game made in between. Tease.
My internet was acting up through all that anyway, so I could barely hear you, so...
The game engine's called Between. Because it said a game made in between.
No, you're lying. You're lying.
From my point of view, you're lying. The Jedi are evil.
But they are. I grew up with the prequels. They are evil.
I also grew up with the prequels. I wouldn't say evil as much. I'm not saying they're not wrong. I wouldn't just say they're not evil. They're doing wrong by not doing anything. The game title is RPG Maker and B by that logic. You see, we're playing RPG Maker and B, made in between.
Good talk. People
So-
have brought that up before. I'm not changing it. I
So
like
back
it
to
like
the
that.
Jedi are evil. Why do they think the Jedi are evil?
Oh, I'm mostly joking.
Oh. Because I also grew up with the prequels.
The problem with the Jedi is much more that they're like actually sort of child abuse, I think is probably the best word for it.
What? Picking orphans and making them fight is child abuse? That's news to me.
Cutting them off from their family, teaching them to be emotionally repressed, etc., etc., etc.
That sounds like a totally healthy childhood to me.
Jedis have similarities to the Nazis, but they also have similarity to any other organization that has children in it and wants some semblance of control over them.
Hopefully, what was his name? Hopefully Luke was better teacher. Let's see, let's try to find the secret weapon.
Oh, you know there's a secret weapon?
Apparently,
Did someone say that?
yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay. No, you've already failed, by the way.
Bummer. Best weapon missed. Oh well. And I blame the developer. If only there was a way to contact the developer.
Yeah, I'll look into that. A way to contact me, I mean.
Sure. I'll wait for you to
So
tell me how to contact me.
basically, you need to just walk in one direction consistently.
Oh. That's kinda... So, by telling me that there's a secret weapon, they made me miss the secret weapon.
Yeah, you might have gotten it if you just like clicked a button and kept going, and not thought about that.
Evils. Evil. Oh, where's the white hair? It was at that moment I knew I fucked up. Oh, do I remember this part as well? I remember you had translucent followers of sorts. But maybe I'm getting confused. Oh, nice. Art. You didn't make Ben a true albino in this shot. What do you mean by true albino? Because they're already like super white hair.
I mean, if you were albino, you would you'd have really, really pale skin. And I guess I'm not sure if red eyes is actually part of that in real life, but that would certainly match the anime aesthetic. If it's not in real life, it might be in real life.
There are some albinos that have red eyes, yes.
Lack of pigmentation in your eyes is blue eyes, I think.
So the narration's supposed to be first person, right? Or second person?
First person.
Okay.
It's I do the same thing in Oathbreaker, basically.
Mm-mm. Posted a ping in your Discord. Oh yeah, I saw a ping in your Discord. For me, I think. Haven't checked it.
No, it's. Oh no, yeah, I did that because I was just saying, hey, you're playing this.
Hey, Icarue, you're playing this. Icarue.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Okay, yeah, I remember this. Art aside.
Trying to find tiling errors.
If it happened once, it might happen again.
Did it happen before?
In Petrichor.
Oh yeah, okay. I mean, there's been lots of those to note, but people have largely found them and reported it to me. So this point in the game is probably pretty solid on that.
And now Icarue is paranoid that something else will be lost. Yes. Who knows where another secret super weapon will appear. Just wait for Icarue to find the game-breaking clipping mistake and teleport right into the final boss.
That would require the final boss to be in the game.
I will it into existence.
I mean, I have that planned out. I know generally what mechanics it'll have. I have art for the final boss. I actually recently got art for like all the narrative stuff around the final boss too, because that's one of the more recent commissions that I've done. So that's like all on the like very last stage of it, as well as some other art that's meant for the ending. And I also want to do some unique art for the credits. So I have a lot of that like stuff done for the ending, because I have a very specific ending in mind for the game.
So if I say nothing, she will come, right? Maybe it's a comment on my yielding fate on you.
I mean, do you want a hint?
Sure. Because
Do you think
something and nothing's kind of vague.
Do you think that she'll actually listen to you regardless of what you say, rather than just changing her opinion of you?
I don't know. I'm gonna say nothing. That's not saying nothing.
I mean, I could have him say nothing, like literally right after. Just like the word nothing.
Chiquillo.
I do actually think my way of handling progression is pretty well done in a way to stop things from breaking in a progression standpoint.
Right.
If you do run into a bug, you'd probably be more likely to be locked out of progression than you would jumping forward in progression.
So there's no secret teleport to the final boss?
Not yet, maybe in the final game.
Wait. Oh, okay, you gave me back the thing. Oh, and they gave me the things from the guy as well. Nice.
The snap pin dropped when you beat the slime boss.
Yeah, but the fancy wedge thrust from the guy.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Civilian class run only one. You should also have the gun from the cop. Oh! Nice! So let's put you this and this. And give you this one. And I'll give you this one.
That's one of the more interesting, significant balancing changes I made throughout the development of this, where I have AoE attacks, and it used to be that I had, like, say, a single basic attack was this power, and that AoE attacks were, like, half the power, because they could potentially hit so many more. And then I found that, like, the group battles were just so much more situational that you had to sort of make AoE significantly more powerful, a lot closer to just a basic attack, in order to make it viable.
He had the gun. Oh, wonderful. That deal nothing. That deal nothing. Time to hit it harder? That seal did nothing. Found the mage, probably. Oh, so this is where the freelancer class comes from.
That familiar, like, base class sort of concept that I have done in multiple of the games we've worked on.
At least. Wait, is it on the guy with the 3 protagonists as well?
The base class for that project is freelancer for each of them. Yeah.
But this is being said, I applied some creative liberties to Bennett such that Bennett would not always go first and insta-give the enemies.
As in editing saves, I assume.
I don't know. Does Bennett always go first? Prepared healing has a ritual at a time.
I mean, the player side always goes first, but the party may not have Bennett go first. Your will stat determines turn order.
Correct. I don't know correct on what, but correct. You're correct.
Save editing, I assume.
Yes. Kinda made me realize anytime there was a timing-based boss fight. Kira. I have a feeling I'm gonna miss Desperation.
Hey, look, you still have desperation.
Yeah. Let's use children. I'm better than the Jedi. I'm trying to save this one. Or so I said myself. Up, up, down, down. Left, right. Maybe. Oh, that's a waste of time.
Yep.
Was I even correct?
In the Konami code, I have no idea what it is.
We have 7 people in chat.
You might want to repeat what you did.
When? Here?
Like what you actually think the Konami code is? Because you just sort of mumbled it as you were doing it.
I think was up, up, down, down, left, right, left, right. Oh, BA. But still nothing. Start. Still nothing. Hey, but I was half right. Like, I just missed like the last two steps. Like I input them incorrectly. Oh man, she's gonna die very quick.
I think that also is just poor luck.
Oh man,
Everything
she's kind of useless.
Everything should be set up so that the enemies basically never target her. Like, it's like a 1 in 1,000 chance that they target her.
Hey, I wanted the lottery.
On your second try, too. Good job.
Prepared healing's MVP skill until you got another healing seal. You won the worst lottery. Oh, it's this kind of puzzle.
Generally, what I do, because I don't have these memorized, is I just enter an area and then immediately go back where I went in. Because now you're literally going in circles.
So prepared healing is custom prepared that can initial heal. Da, 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 da. Oh, that actually dealt damage.
Because she crits. So now if you actually want to play the lottery, here you go. You have now stumbled upon the gacha mechanic.
Can be used to obtain bundlings. Use? Sure. How is this a gacha?
I mean, you should use it.
But I only have 2 party members. It'd be a waste. I better
It gives you an item that you can equip.
But
The idea that you're using it on someone is a quirk of me trying to do it in RPG Maker.
okay, fine. I trust you. Use shard. Ah. Well, actually, this is not technically gacha. This is a claw machine, which is entirely not rigged.
You got a 2-star.
Better than a 1-star?
Better than a 1-star, yeah. Yeah. 1-star, 2-star, 3-star, 4-star, 5-star.
I have a feeling that did nothing.
No, it's equipable. You're in ingredients.
But then why did I use it?
It's an equipable. Go to your equipables.
But why did I use it?
What's the question? You use something that you can't use for something else for the gacha thing.
No, I meant the insight point.
Oh, did it let you use that?
Yeah.
That's a bug.
Should I try it on everything?
No, that's experience.
Well, I just burned a...
Inside, you're just using it.
I just burned experience.
Yeah. Yep.
Well, hey, I found a bug.
You did. And I can fix it in a jiffy.
I wonder.
No, her magic's... So, it said before that the will stat is a massive part of the damage calculation.
Right?
And her class just has a much lower will stat, which is why she does basically no damage.
Well, time to equip it too. How many accessories do you have? And I can equip. Huh.
2% evasion for a 2-star one, that's not bad.
It's because I didn't put it away. Let me see. Shows. I wanted to equip this. And I'm gonna equip you with this. Because you are now a TP battery.
I was actually going to suggest that. You do actually have to go around from the other side.
Mergurger. A ruby pendant. So
You didn't talk to the chest!
I told you I forgot.
You predicted that too.
I know myself.
There's chest on most maps of this, I believe, if I remember correctly. Of the forest. Just like one per though, so.
I'm gonna assume I'm not supposed to go down there. That's not what I wanted to do.
You'll get lost again if you do. Yep, there you go.
I'm gonna get lost. Because this is not even the correct way.
That was... Yeah, that was the area you wanted to go to there. And you wanted to follow the path going upward.
Yep. Super boss, here I go. Oh. This is not a cave.
Yeah.
How many chest jokes do you have?
Every single chest I have not counted, and I'm not going to count.
Tells Icarue that chest can talk. Immediately ignore 2 chests later. Fuck. I found a slight bug, or annoyance, you might call it. If you walk sideways...
Annoyance.
What?
It's annoyance because it's the end of the map. And there's not really any other way to do that.
So it
Unless I,
was...
designed it better when I originally made these.
Left. Fuck.
Which future stuff should be better about.
So up.
Go down.
Oh.
Go down. Oh, that too.
I mean, I was here. Okay, so, but I'm basically where I'm started.
Go up, 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 go up.
Up's not where I wanted to go.
Go left again. So no, so this is legitimately it. Just go back to where you came, over and over. No, now go up. This is the other one. Now go up from here.
Up from here? Oh, the lag.
No, from the previous map because of the lag.
Right. So now should I go up?
Okay, just...
No, I'm pretty sure up's bad.
Go.
Go up. Are you sure?
I don't memorize these, but just go up and we'll be in a different area.
Yes, I'm in the area where I started.
Okay, now go left. Now go up. And now you're back here.
Okay.
Because it's legitimately it's like two, maybe three maps that you really only need to travel through to get to the right place.
Okay.
Like, almost none of them actually needing to walk through except one.
Wait, was Kira also transparent? Nope, Kira's not transparent. For some reason, everyone else is. Everyone else is living in a police state while Kira and Bennett do not. I did not get the joke. I think I vaguely remember this part as well. Vaguely. I think I just froze over the foreshadowing. Oh, rip.
You say foreshadowing, I say like almost every line in every single conversation is foreshadowing to me. There's foreshadowing that's happened for like the end game that no one will have picked up by now.
So the chests are actually alive and it's the final boss. I knew it.
Maybe.
Six is so close to the forest, I could say there's a dryad here.
That I don't get.
Throwaway line. Foreshadowing. Everything's foreshadowing. Dun 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 dun. Everything's foreshadowing if you're brave enough. Sure. If I don't go ASAP, that's more probable to get TF'd. I probably am not gonna get TF'd, am I? Oh. Bad end number 1. I don't know if they're voting for me to do good things or bad things.
Do all the things.
Do you have art for this bad ends?
I do not. It is something that has not been voted very highly by the patrons I give voting on priorities. So I'm gonna guess that those probably won't be done outside of maybe a couple occasional ones down the line. The people have more wanted like story-based stuff in terms of that sort of art.
Right.
You did unlock class mastery earlier.
I did. Yay! I have the aspiration back. Maybe, probably. Well, there's always time for art into if you do DLC. And earlier, I just realized something about how Icarue is playing that might make the game harder. You mean how I skip like every 2 lines? A mother's ever a free time after a main story, bad and dark would be nice.
The tricky thing is that I'm also making like 3 other games, so...
At least.
I mean, with the amount of things that I am now just like sort of passively helping you with, or like giving advice on, or thoughts, or anything like that on, I might end up working on like 10 points in some capacity.
Pain pickle. Pain pickle. So we have the OP cook class and the civilian class.
So yeah, subclasses give 1/10 of the class stats and one of the skills that are unique to it.
You know what? Let's give you a cook. Oh, I guess you cannot be a civilian if you're a civilian.
Yeah, you can't equip the same class as a subclass, and you can't equip a higher tier of class subclass to a lower tier of class.
I found the heal bot.
FYI, Physia just increases the base healing, so it doubles the the percent healing of a healing skill by like 200. It doesn't increase like regeneration and stuff like that.
Right. West, east, south, south, north, east. M? Right. Let's see how much damage does it do. Not worth. Who's this Harper? Oh! And Bennett also has like 1000 HP compared to like 300.
Yep, that's another upgrade of classes. It's a very distinct. Classes have tiers, and they're all very similar strength, but when you go up a tier of class, it's a big improvement.
And how do I know what tier they are?
It says in the class menu.
Ah.
Also, the health is a pretty big giveaway, because like tier 2 has like 2,000 health.
So west, east. That's right.
Okay, I'm gonna give you a massive hint on that, so you don't waste your time. You need to start from the beach. You need to enter the first area from the beach, basically.
Someone raided me. Huh. Thank you, high taxes.
I'm not. Do you want to get raided by high taxes?
Thank you, high taxes, for the raid. Maybe it's trying to return.
So if you want to return, there's actually a gimmick to that. Go fight an enemy, and then escape.
So I got raided by one person, I think. But hello. Raid. It's a party of 3. Oh, there we go. Just the numbers don't reflect it. Oops, escape. Then we go to the party. We go to the beach. Oh. So west?
So, no, I mean, so you enter from the beach, and then from there you start following it.
How's my HP? Let's heal.
It's not a healing spot.
Nope.
You got those basic rations you can heal with if you want to heal.
What's with all the white at the bottom of the map? It's a night ice age. Let's see how much I remember. I think it's just white in it. Right? As far as the characters know, that's like, quote unquote, the end of the world.
It's just nothing. Imagine if the world just had a few oases of like actual existence.
So an in-lore world border, basically.
And everything else is basically just nothing.
Burrito seeds.
That's just a key item.
Perdita. Thought it was a fog or something. So it's west. Then we go east.
East would be where you came from.
You're saying it's 1 in 1,000 that she gets attacked.
I mean, I could check the target rate, but it's. But like, she gets a state that's like makes her target rate like 1 in 100, and so maybe it's more like 1 in 100 now that I think about it.
I cannot go east.
Yeah, you can. You just you entered from east.
Wait,
so just go the way that you
Wesson?
entered. Yeah, so you went west and you entered this area. To go east would be to go to the right.
So this is east. West, so this is south. And then I go south again. West. I have to go east.
No, actually no.
Oh, is it north again?
West? I can like double check if you want to not waste
Wesson?
time. I thought it was West Nem. Man, I'm forgetting.
Wessnem. So it's north again.
N. Okay.
So north. Then go east. I pick these things. So east. Where did the thing go? Oh, there we go. West is east. M. Middle?
Don't pick up the thing unless I... Okay. You might get teleported away. I'm trying to remember.
I did not.
Okay, no. If you made the other choice, you'd be teleported. If you made the other choice about, like, going out and doing this first, you'd be teleported back to the cabin. So yeah, you are now actually in a cave.
During adventure, always watches back. Regards. Wesson. Didn't. I was afraid that the note would crumble, so I opted not to open it. I have a cane. Perdita, lost in Latin. So I'm gonna guess that's a weapon. It is. It's a magic item. Interesting. Interesting.
Harper can't use magic, so...
She cannot? What if I equip her
no,
with...
actually... No, yeah, I guess technically she can. Now, I was more thinking of the prologue, because there's no magic stuff there.
Essence, fire, rhyme. I guess she cannot.
You'd have to equip her with rhyme.
Transfer. So that's the pendant thingy. And then we... This is not doing thing. Oh, chance to heal status, not to heal everything.
If you look at the actual skill, it gives more information on what each skill does, if you look at them. Those are just like short descriptions that'll actually fit in the rest of the item description. So the Mender status, Mender's thing would be which I don't think you have equipped anymore. Yeah.
Oh, I also don't have this. Grants Physia.
What do you mean you don't have that? That's not a passive, that's an...
That's a craft.
Oh, no, you don't have... Oh, right, you can't use magic because Civilian doesn't have access to the magic skill set at all.
Ew.
That's what I was remembering.
So that's a waste of time. Let's see, what did you have before? Not that it matters. Thermal, and then you don't matter. So let's save again. There's no rhyme or reason. Ha 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 ha. Oh, so this teleports me back into the beach. Okay. Now what should I do? Should I continue searching for the seeds?
I think you got all of them.
So do I have to get back then?
Right. It should only, if you remember how to get there, take a couple screens.
That's a lot of trusting my memory.
If you want me to say, just let me know. I don't want you to like wander aimlessly if you feel like you're wandering aimlessly.
I'm a terrible person for being in the mood like this. You mean like In Spanish, we call it being simple. So like you laugh about the smallest things.
Oh wait, no, sorry, I was mixing up the two things again. No, you don't actually need to go to here, but you can rest here.
Right.
You need to go to the canyon map.
Right.
So just for future reference, if you open up the menu. There should be a quest log.
Right. The shape
Which
of the unknown.
should- Investigate the lake. Which I should probably update that to have more of a description of of the canyon part of it.
Investigate the lake. Yeah. English has the term impish. Oh, impish is like you laugh at things a lot? Is this a canyon map?
Does it have big cliffs?
Yes?
Yes. So go, go east.
I'm gonna save. We're like prankster and laughing at pranks. Keep going. Okay, I'll do this and then call it a stream. Oh, this is normal RPG Maker music. Does everyone have to dance? Oh, this is why you mentioned hopscotch. Does it have to be a specific way? Oh, it is. Oh no. Match your character with the direction keys as they make their way through the dance motions. Oh, goody. I expected something. Okay. Like, I'm expecting arrows to fly by. Because that would be something I totally would do.
A rose?
A what?
You're expecting a what to fly by?
An arrow.
Arrow. Oh, okay. Okay, I thought you said a rose for some reason. That's very different from a arrow.
Arrows? Rose?
Probably, yeah.
I think that noise came from IRL.
I
Slightly
heard
worrying.
that. Oh, I hear a dog.
Let's see if I can call her. Psst, 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 psst. Come on, say hi to the stream. Psst, psst. She did not want to say hi to the stream. Oh, we're still in cutscene.
You may have entered a long cutscene, I'm gonna know.
I'm just gonna say, damn it.
There will be. I think there is a save point partway through if you really want to stop. Or you could always just end it partway through too, and restart this next time.
I'll wait for it. You're about to...
There was a fix to the fast forward that one Trial Fork, I think the name was, on TF Games approached me about. And they gave me an update to the fast forward function that makes all the fast forwarding much quicker in cutscenes and stuff. So it's not nearly as bad to go back through everything.
Appearance TF Tier 2? Oh. What's TF Tier 1 then?
Oh,
What's
there's
TF Tier 1?
appearance. Oh, I thought you were talking. Yeah, it's like he's white hair, basically a bit more effeminate. So just that primary TG, basically. That's what that's talking about.
Oh, so the TF1 is like normal male human.
Yep. 1 normal, 2 effeminate, 3 spoiler, 4 spoiler, 5 final.
Sounds familiar.
Mm-hmm. There is some similarity to how I see that progression working, in terms of being a natural progression of it.
Reiko finally sent a message. Unfortunate that this started while I wasn't home.
Well, whose fault is that, Reiko? Ours.
We perfectly planned. Like, what's the most unoptimized time for Reiko's country to to not like watch the stream, and then we do it on purpose. Wahahaha. But well, that was our chunk of between for now. I'll probably do a little bit more in 2 weeks, and so on and so forth until we finish. What?
Yeah.
When you're available again, yeah. Well,
I should be available in 2 weeks. Yeah, I'm available in 2 weeks.
That's the plan, at least. I arrive literally at the end. Yeah. What? You can watch the boths.
It's been 2.5 hours to note, Reiko. So, to note... I can't speak today. To note, Reiko, it has been 2.5 hours. You are very much late on with, like, a capital L, so...
I mean, most streamers streamed, like, for 2 to 3 hours. I think that's normal.
Icarue, if you want to make that excuse and commit to it, then you gotta actually commit to that time, right?
For what, 2.5 hours?
Is it 2.5 hours for most? Sorry, I actually started saying that before you stopped talking. So I assumed you were going to say much longer. Yeah, that's my bad.
Some of them stream for like 3 hours, some of them stream like for 4 hours. And there's Iron Mouse. Like 9 to 10 hours a day.
Yeah, no, that's more what I think of when I think about the typical streamer. That, like, streaming most of the day sort of thing.
Right. Who has time for that? You either play games or make games. Or, like I do, which is a little bit of both.
Man, I play games so much less since I started making them.
I always make sure I have a little bit of time to play games. Like, at least an hour a day. Otherwise, like...
yeah, I couldn't do that.
What I like about games is being able to play them. And me making them is just, like, a part of it. And, like, contributing back to society by making games so I can... So... Yeah. So there are more games for people to play, including myself. But oh well. That's a stream. Thank you all for joining. Thank you for the raid. That I think that was the first raid we got. Probably. But oh well. Too much rambling. And I need to eat. See you guys probably next week? Probably next week. Maybe. Hopefully. Who knows. Bye bye.
See y'all. Drive safely, everyone.